Welcome to The Standard. My name's Rhett Weaver. The idea behind this project is where average people have raised their standards. We're going to show you the blueprint. Let's do this.
Hey guys, we're super excited. Parker from Premier Detailing's here, right? Parker, he's, I don't know, you've cleaned my cars for a long time, dude.
Long time.
We love it. We love it.
Long time.
So, dude, I remember you were around in 2017. Is that when you first kind of initiated getting into the whole cleaning?
Yep, February 2017 is when I started Premier Steam Cleaning. That now turned into Premier Detailing.
Cool. And I remember did we meet like right around that time, or when did me and you meet?
We met pretty soon after I had started. I don't know how we fully got connected, but yeah, it was very early on.
I remember
when you had your nice Chevy. Oh, that's how we met. You were at Academy, and I was cleaning stuff for.
You doing? We ended up doing a giveaway with Raj, dude. Remember?
Yes.
You came to the house, and I think that was like one of the first times that I met you. Is we gave away one of your
yes
your carpet cleanings.
Yeah.
With Jessa doing with her stuff.
Yeah.
So that was a couple years ago, but stuff's definitely evolved for you.
Oh, yeah.
Before we kind of dive into like, you know, kind of what you're doing now in life, because you've obviously blown up and become super successful with, you know, getting in with a couple of jazz players, or, you know, the diesel sellers, or a couple high-end luxury, you know, car detailing. I shouldn't say car detailing, but car lots. You know, let's talk a little bit more about like where you're from, how you grew up, what the household was like. You know, your parents are entrepreneurs. You know, what was it kind of like growing up for you?
Growing up for me, honestly, I got super lucky. I had a great childhood growing up.
Yeah.
My parents, awesome, always super supportive. But my big thing growing up was sports.
Yeah.
Soccer was my thing.
Cool.
So yeah, my dad worked in public safety still does. Works for 911 dispatch for
Cool.
Salt Lake. Now he's at Weaver County.
Cool.
And my mom worked at the elementary school.
Cool.
So yeah, it's not like we were rolling in cash, but we weren't super poor.
No, but I guess talk about the competitiveness of soccer. Play in high school, play collegiate and all, do any comp stuff.
Yep. So grew up playing for La Roca,
Cool.
and yeah, super competitive. We were the best in the state for the last. It was like 2012, 13, and 14. We were the best team in the state, nationally ranked. So we were a very competitive team.
Cool.
Then yeah, I took that, went and played at Dixie State for a year. Played collegiate soccer, and that's a whole different ballgame. Being NCAA athlete, all that type of stuff. Yeah. So,
I guess tell me, what did you learn from it? Right? I mean, being part of a club, you know, I guess transitioning into business. But before we transition to the business side of stuff, like how many days a week did you guys train? Did you do it in private training? Was it did they have the facility set up for you guys to kind of go in whenever you wanted? What was it like playing at the club level as far as soccer?
Club level, it was every other day. For trainings, and then either 1 or 2 games a week. So it was pretty much every single day you had something going on.
Yeah.
So very physically demanding. I mean, soccer, you're running a lot. So you've got to keep up on your body. You've got to, eat good food, take care of it. And so, it was very, very competitive. And I mean, you got to know how to work with your team. And our team was super tight.
Yeah.
So everybody knew what everybody would kind of do.
Correct.
And it just flowed so well together that's why we were ranked so high.
Yeah.
Is we just knew everybody's talents.
Yeah. Looking back at it now, I mean, in that particular time of life, is there anything like you wish you would have done different, or wish you could have done different at that level?
One thing that pops into my mind now more recently that I've kind of, I guess, evolved as a person is I wish that I would have had the same mindset I do now about soccer that I did back then.
Correct. Explain.
That I could because now I know how to control my mind a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I can see it kind of everything as a bigger picture. So if I were to go back and be able to really focus in on soccer and be like, this is what I want to do, not because I was like naturally, fit to play soccer.
Yeah.
And it came super easy for me.
Yep.
But being able to like really zone in on that and like maybe try and take it to a different level and maybe try and pursue it a little bit more changing my mindset
Yeah.
back then to be super focused and
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I don't know if this resonates with you, but I remember growing up, right? I felt like I was always very talented. You know what I'm saying? And when I mean talented, I'm like from like a Utah region. Like we were talented.
Yeah.
You know, our competition teams would sometimes travel to Las Vegas or different areas and go play, and we would get smoked sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I always felt like I was very talented. When I look back at those times, kind of growing up, I think the one thing that I wish I would have known then that I know now is basically the work ethic, right?
Yeah.
The amount of time you've got to put into be at a higher level, or you know what I'm saying? Not only that, but I think the amount of time that you put into it, you know, I don't know why this kind of comes to mind, but with Kobe's passing, I feel like there's a lot of YouTube stuff on Kobe.
Yeah.
You know, and I think one thing that would like blew my mind was when Kobe was in high school, he realized, you know, he was only working out twice a day.
Yeah.
And he realized if he wanted to work out more, he had to wake up earlier and go to bed sooner, right? And so he would start his trainings at 4 a.m. in the morning so he could get 3 workouts in during the day, you know, because of the level where he wanted to get, right?
Yeah.
I think now, you know, kind of where I'm at in life, I just wish like at that age, that was something that I could have, I don't know, I don't even know what the right word is, but basically comprehended
Yes.
that it took that amount of effort to get where you want it to be.
100%.
And I think growing up kind of in the state of Utah, and hopefully this resonates with you a little bit too, but I felt like, dude, we had great friends. You know what I'm saying? We did a lot of fun stuff. There was a ton of stuff going on. I feel like we were well diverse between sports, you know, baseball, soccer, football, basketball, whatever that kind of looks like.
Yeah.
So to me, you know, when I think of Cubby, it was like, well, I just didn't have love for one thing. You know, we were trying to diversify and play a couple different sports, but all of my friends did it too, right?
Yeah.
But I think one thing that I kind of look back on and wish is it's just like, I just wish I would have spent more time with, you know, whether it's a one-on-one personal trainer or a one-on-one coach.
Yeah.
You know, my wife played collegiate volleyball.
Oh, nice.
But you know, one thing that she always said is like she had a coach growing up, you know.
Yeah.
So not only did they practice, but then she got coached, and obviously that helped her kind of succeed that way. But
Yeah.
talk to me how, you know, like how those early stages of soccer or going through high school or even at the collegiate level playing soccer, how that transitioned into kind of the business mindset or helps you that way.
It kind of just gives you like that competitive edge.
Yeah.
You know, like you always want to win.
Correct.
No matter what. Whenever we were playing, like I'm a terrible loser. Like
Yeah.
I hate losing any type of sporting events.
Yeah.
Even now, like
Yeah.
we'll play family games or whatever. I hate to lose. That's just who I am.
Yeah.
My wife hates it. She's like, he always finds a way to cheat. I gotta win.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And so, yeah, it makes me very competitive now to like want to go out there and be the best that I can be in
Yeah.
my field. And so, and that's kind of like soccer was my thing. I zoned in on soccer.
Yep.
Now I zone in on cars. Cars are what I know. Cleaning is what I know with all these things. So
So let's chat about that. Have you always had a love for cars?
always,
Always.
Always
Like
had a love
growing
for
up,
cars.
always had. In what type of cars?
when I was growing up, I was kind of more into like Subarus and the
Yep.
tuner scene, and kind of like the Rice Rockets was kind of my thing. I kind of
Yeah.
loved being loud and obnoxious.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was kind of my thing growing up, and then it's kind of slowly evolved into European and
Yeah.
luxury.
Everything like that. That's awesome, dude. And I guess talk to me. At what point did you kind of? I mean, you probably didn't think growing up like you were going to detail cars and
No.
be successful. Right? I mean, it's no different than me. It's like I didn't go through high school or early stages of life and think like, hey, I'm going to be a loan officer. Like this is going to be a
Yeah.
great business in life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, kind of at what age did you begin to like get into steam cleaning homes or whatever? Like why did that happen? Where did that come from?
I think the first spot that it actually kind of clicked for me that like business is cool
Yeah.
was in high school. So I was first in the medical program, hated it.
Yeah.
And I kind of took that path because my dad was in EMT and that type of stuff. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that could be cool.
Yep.
And then everybody was hanging out in the business schools for tutorial. And I was like, I want to go hang out there.
Yeah.
And so we went in there, and the teacher had played Shark Tank. And I was like, that's cool.
Yeah.
And so like from that stage, I was like, yeah, I want to be an investor. I want to be able to like help small businesses.
Yeah.
This is super cool. And so that's kind of where it clicked for me there. But it wasn't like at that point in time, I was like, I'm going to go
Correct.
clean cars for a living.
Correct.
You know?
Yep.
And so then it goes into college. I went into the sales program, and I kind of just got fascinated with, rich people, that were wealthy, people that could, control a lot of things. They had a lot of power. Those type of people kind of just, I admired them.
Yeah.
And so I was looking and kind of thinking, okay, how do I go down that path?
Yeah.
I love cars. I know how to do it, but it's like a huge risk. There's a lot of other detailers out there. So why take that jump? And so, yeah, I had tossed that idea around. The carpet cleaning idea came around. I wanted to be in real estate and all this other stuff. And so, I don't know, it all kind of just clicked in that high school
Yeah.
phase, and then
Yeah.
kind of made its way.
Back up just a little bit. When you talk about rich people, what do you mean by that? Like, are you saying like you always wanted to be a wealthy person, or you like the idea or the perception of them, or what is it?
All the above.
All the above.
All the above for sure.
Now that you kind of know some wealthy people, right? Because obviously you've met a lot. Has your mindset changed on what rich is, or what things are, or the perception of it?
Yeah, it's kind of changed more to the fact of like, I don't necessarily care about the money as much. Money's awesome, but like that's not my driving force. I look at all these rich people now and see how much they give back to everybody else around them.
Yep.
Always take care of the people around you. And that's like one thing that I've really noticed about some of these, wealthy people that are like super influential.
Yep.
Is they help everybody around them.
Yep.
And so that's one thing that's really stuck with me is I want to be able to help those around me. I don't want people to ever have to struggle for money or worry about paying bills or anything like that. I've kind of like taken that burden upon myself, and I'm going to go out there and I'm going to work as hard as I can so nobody else around me has to struggle.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my thing with watching rich people.
I sit there and think about that a lot in life too, right? It's kind of there's two different ways of like being rich, right? I remember kind of going through my 20s. I remember a conversation with somebody one time, and I could tell who I was becoming as a person. They weren't necessarily understanding me, right?
Yeah.
And let me explain, right? I remember one time like I would go help these people do stuff. Or I'm a type of personality like I love buying dinner for people, right?
Yeah.
And the misconception here was always like, well, Rhett just wants to flaunt it, or Rhett just wants to, you know what I'm saying, show what he has. And I'm like, in my 20s, I didn't really have that much money, right? But I always felt like, to me, if I could add any value to somebody's life, that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And to me, the money is just a lot more fun because I get to add value to people. But it's also one of those things where I feel like I'm investing in relationships, right? Like Parker, to be brutally honest, if I didn't like you, I wouldn't buy you dinner. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think like that was an aha moment through my 20s where like I could really see the shift in personality for myself to realize like, dude, you just don't get who I am.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Me doing this has nothing with flaunting or the perception of what I am. I'm genuinely trying to reinvest in you because I enjoy being around you.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm investing in your life, right? And the reason I show up and help you move, or the reason I show up and want to be around you, is because it's just adding value, and I just want to be around people that I enjoy being around, right?
Yeah.
And there's some rich people that I've met that I feel like I never want to be around them. I don't want to be associated with them.
Oh, yeah.
You know, not saying that they're bad people. It's just the way they come off, the way the perception is, you know, however they're trying to like, you know, perceive who they want to become in life. And to me, I'm like, authenticity and being real,
Yeah.
you know, is probably the most important for me. And I don't, you know, I honestly, Parker, like, that's why I really like you, bro. You know what I'm saying? I've always felt like day one since we've got to know each other, you know, I just get the raw Parker of how authentic you are and where you're trying to run your business.
Yeah.
But kind of back to your business, talk to me about the early days of like cleaning homes. I don't know if you've got any funny stories. I don't know if you've got, you know, anything the early days before you kind of transition to cars. But I guess talk to me about that.
The early carpet cleaning days were interesting days for sure. Long, hard, sweaty days.
Yeah.
Like, if you want a job that makes you absolutely like grind,
Yeah.
that's the one that'll like show your true colors for sure.
Yeah.
And it's just hard because you're there by yourself. You're pulling these stupid long hoses that are heavy, and you're in people's houses, you're sweating like crazy.
Yeah.
And it's hard back breaking work. And so, yeah, those days were rough. But yeah, some fun stories about that. We used to clean these apartments down in West Jordan.
Yeah.
And there's this one time, so they would just give us the keys to go in.
Okay.
So they'd say, you have units 1, 2, 3, 4,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And so you go knock on the door, nobody answers, you let yourself in.
Yeah.
So this one time we knock on the door and nobody answers.
Yep.
Okay, so we walk in, and I mean, we'll give it a second to see if like somebody's sleeping or sitting or whatever.
Yep.
We walk in and we like hear this rustling in the back. And we're like, hey, carpet cleaners are here. And they don't say anything. And so like, we just keep walking in. And sure enough, it was a newlywed couple back in their bedroom. And we kind of walked in on them. They're like, oh, okay, this is awkward. We'll come back later. So yeah, we've had a couple of those incidences, but
That's hilarious.
yeah, it's
So at what point did you transition out of doing homes and more into the cars?
So I guess we could backtrack a little bit more. And
Yeah.
when I first started the business, I always wanted to do cars,
Okay.
but I didn't think that the mobile detailing business would take off as fast as it did.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, so I have to have something in between there.
Yep.
So I got the carpet cleaning machine, put it in the van, and it could work for both.
Okay.
So I could do the mobile and I could do the carpets.
Awesome.
So I knew carpets were going to be pretty easy money to get. It
Yep.
wasn't a lot of money, but the jobs were there to get.
Yep.
And then the cars, I thought that was going to be a whole different animal, super hard to get people. Completely flopped.
Okay.
Cars were super, super easy for me to get. Carpets weren't as easy for me to get.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how that whole thing went. Is I started it as a carpet cleaning company that did mobile detailing on the side.
Yeah.
It turned into mobile detailing with carpet cleaning on the side. And so I was like, you know what? I'm making more money doing cars than carpets. Let's ditch the carpets completely.
Yeah.
Let's go full in cars and let's just go to town.
Yeah. You might laugh about this, dude, but I can think of 3 people right now who have actually called me up to ask about your mobile car detailing and how you got started and if you enjoyed doing it.
Yeah.
Right? I guess give me the pros and cons. I mean, I know as the consumer, the pro is like, you show up while I work, you can clean my car. I don't have to come to you.
Convenience is
The convenience, it's the same reason DoorDash, Uber, all of this exists. Like, you do it on, when I don't have to wait for you, basically, right?
Yeah.
Like I can be doing something else and you just come to me. But talk to me about the pros and cons, because I bet a lot of people are actually very interested in this, because I feel like there's companies popping up all the time.
Oh yeah.
What has been the absolute struggle of the mobile detailing, and what was the positive of the mobile detailing, if there were any?
The struggle of the mobile detailing is the elements, for sure. Being outside when it's 100 degrees, you don't have any shade, having water dry on you instantly when you're trying to wash a black car out in the sun. Those are the struggles of it. Like the elements they're hard. Winters suck, summers super hot.
Yeah.
I mean, spring and fall are fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, those times are hard.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. I mean, if the sun's shining and it's 100 degrees outside, it's like you can't even wash it.
No, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. So it makes you work fast. But I mean, the pros to it are the convenience. Like, it's super easy for you to go and kind of get like a maintenance program for people.
Yep.
Show up every other week, knock out their stuff. It's just reoccurring business.
Yep.
So that part of it's awesome, but I would say that there's more downsides to doing mobile detailing compared to a shop than there is pros. It's just very hard. I mean, you don't have a lot of overhead, so that's super nice.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Did you feel like the mobile detailing was the key to opening you up to bigger named clientele?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was convenience. So like I would say that my big break was Diesel Brothers.
Yeah. And I guess talk to us about that. How did you get to know them? What did they do for you? How long have you been working with them?
So I hit them up. I sent Keaton, the muscle, message on Instagram one day. I was like, hey man, let me come clean your truck for you for free.
Yeah.
I just want to take some pictures of it.
There we go.
I'll trade you a post for
Sliding it.
for the detail. And so I went out there, cleaned his stuff, talked to him for a while. He posted about me and he's like, hey man, I want to take you down to the shop, introduce you to the guys.
Yeah.
Let's take you down. I was like, cool, let's go. So we go down to the shop a couple days later. he introduces me to all the guys down there. We chat with everybody, and they're like, "Hey, I've got 7 trucks for you to do right now." And I was like, "Cool, let's do it." So I'm there all day, all night, cleaning their trucks just to show them like who I am.
Yep.
Get my name in there.
Yep.
And this was like fall of 2017.
Yep.
So super early. I was just kind of like, awesome, let's take this and run with it. So I go do all that stuff, and we just kind of hit it off. It started as, "Hey man, will you come back every Tuesday?" to, "Hey, we need you here Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday."
Yeah.
You know, just constant stuff.
And I guess real quick, who are the diesel sellers? Who are the Diesel Brothers? I mean, I assume quite a few people know, but for those that don't.
Diesel Brothers, they're really an apparel business. They sell merchandise and that type of stuff for chances to enter to win their giveaway trucks.
Cool.
So that's who they are. You've got like Dave Kiley, Dave Sparks,
Yep.
Keaton.
And they built some phenomenal trucks, dude.
Oh, crazy
Yeah, they got
trucks.
some cool stuff. So, were you? I mean, obviously they got onto a TV show. I mean, were you doing all the detailing for all their trucks and
Yes.
stuff like that? They got on the show and things like that.
Anything that was on the show, most likely was cleaned by us before the show.
So, what was that experience like for you? I mean, was it more stressful and caused a lot of anxiety, or were you just more like, "This is amazing. It's really blowing me up here in the state of Utah." Because I've kind of been able to hitch my wagon with them, and they've started to build a brand, and my brand kind of came with them.
Both.
Yeah.
I would say, like, I mean, there was a lot of like, "Hey, you can't mess this up" type of deal when doing all this stuff that, like,
Yeah.
obviously would give you anxiety as
Right.
somebody, a fresh business owner out there by themselves or with my brother doing it.
Yeah,
Like, that was a lot to kind of put on me at the beginning.
yeah,
But at the same time, the reward from that was, okay, now I gotta post all these trucks on my social.
correct.
Everybody in the state of Utah will recognize these trucks because they're a huge name.
Yep,
And it just gave me a huge following because of that.
yeah,
I mean, you post their trucks, everybody knows their trucks.
correct.
So that was a big break with it, was being able to do that. But yeah, it gave me anxiety, but it was also fun.
Yeah,
I mean, you get to go out, and I mean, we were driving all over the place to go do shoots remote, which was the convenience of being mobile. It's like,
Yep.
we drive out on these dirt roads, their trucks get all dirty, sweet, we spray them down, clean them up, they take the shot.
yep,
So, yeah, that was kind of, I mean, yeah, it gives you anxiety, but it's also,
yeah. Some orgasm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I noticed you've done a couple jazz players as well. Like, how did you get into that community? Is it somewhere they actually reach out to you? Did you reach out to them? How did it kind of go down there?
enough, same way as the Diesel Brothers. So, Royce O'Neal first got picked up by the Jazz.
Yeah,
Right as like we heard him get picked up, I remember the exact time we were driving down I-15. We were like North Salt Lake area, and I had one of my buddies with me that was working with me for a little bit, and he was like, "Dude, I'm gonna message Royce O'Neal on your account." And I was like, "Do it, hit him up, tell him we'll do it for free.
yeah,
We just want to come out, take some pictures,
Yeah.
whatever."
yeah,
So he hit us up back, and I was like completely shocked. I was like, "Wow, this is crazy."
yep,
So he had us come out. We did his Mercedes. We became super tight with Royce. And then he introduced us to all the other players that we've done stuff for. So like some of the old players, Alec Burks, Neto,
yeah,
Joe Ingles,
yeah,
George's Niang,
yeah.
some of those guys.
So what are those guys like? I mean, I bet a lot of people wonder, like, they cool dudes. Like, what are they like?
Some of the coolest dudes you'll ever meet.
Really?
Yeah. And you see them on TV and then you see them in person, two completely different people.
Yeah,
Like, I can't speak highly enough of Joe Ingles.
yeah,
Coolest dude ever. Will come out, he'll talk to us in the driveway, he'll chat, bring us drinks, whatever we need. Super cool dude.
Yeah.
Brings us into his house.
yeah,
Like, just an awesome dude who doesn't need to do that for somebody like me who's just there to clean his cars.
yeah, yeah.
Like, the dude's worth millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah.
But spends time with the dude cleaning his car in his driveway.
Yeah. What's probably the coolest car you've cleaned? What's the most exotic, or what's the coolest in your mind that you've been able to kind of be around?
Some of my favorites are the McLarens,
Yeah,
for sure. But, I mean, we've also cleaned some crazy trucks.
yeah,
Like, I mean, we've cleaned Logan Paul's truck, huge YouTuber. Like,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool to say that you've done his truck.
yep,
I mean, all the Jazz, the Diesel Brothers with their 6x6 trucks, those are some of my favorite.
yep.
So they did one for Marshmallow, and we were able to clean Marshmallow stuff, which is pretty cool.
It's awesome, dude.
So, yeah, between the exotics and some of those crazy trucks that they've built, Those are probably my favorite.
Yeah. There's probably a lot of people wondering, like, what's the worst car you've ever cleaned?
Oh, minivans, without a doubt. If you call me about a minivan, I will not.
You told me that one time. I
Oh.
remember when I told you need to come clean my wife car. I think that was your first question. What does she drive?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What's the problem with minivans?
Yeah, I promise you, you will never get into a minivan and it's clean, ever. No matter what. You'll find anything and everything possible shoved into the cracks of those cars. So, yeah, minivans, if you call me about a minivan, I will answer your call, but I will tell you I'm booked out 4 weeks because I don't want to do your minivan.
Yeah,
That's
but a lot of that though, dude, is just probably because of children.
Yes.
They're a little bit dirtier. They take a little bit more time.
Yes.
Obviously you're trying to get through cars, so as far as bang for the buck, that's probably not the best thing to clean.
No, you're going to spend a lot more time on that than you should. So much more.
Well, good, dude. Talk to me a little bit about work-life balance, right? Obviously, with you and your wife, she works.
Yep, she's
Yep.
an accountant.
Cool.
She's super busy. She works from home, so that's super nice that when I get home, she's already home.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's awesome. Her job is one of the reasons that I can do what I want to do.
Yeah.
I mean, she's the security blanket. So like, I can go risk everything really.
Yeah.
And try something new. I mean, moving into our shop was a huge jump for us. Completely mobile, going to that, and then having my wife being able to work full time and have benefits and everything is
Yeah.
like huge.
Tell me your wife's reaction when you first told her you wanted to do carpet cleaning or mobile detailing.
She said, "Why? Why would you want to do that?"
Yeah.
But she gets it. I mean, her dad, her whole family is entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
I mean, big businesses in the state of Utah. So she gets the mindset behind it. So she understands why I wanted to do it.
Yep.
More on the side of like, who would want to go clean carpets? Why would you want to do that?
Yeah, for sure.
So that was kind of her initial reaction. But she supported me 100% from day one.
Yeah.
Because when I started, we were still dating. So we weren't married yet. But yeah, she's been right there beside me the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's what I can kind of tell in the relationships, right? It's kind of like as you kind of learn people's stories or the risk that they've taken in life, it always seems like there's a great support system behind them.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, like my wife's no different.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I think one of the biggest things in life is like, and you're probably the same, it's like we spend money daily investing into our business that like my wife has no idea the amount of money, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it makes me laugh because like sometimes it's thousands of dollars that we're putting up for events or different clients or whatever we got to do to kind of keep the business moving forward.
Oh, yeah.
And I think I don't know if this kind of resonates with you, but I feel like that's helped me in my life to understand the judgmental side of it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, with you cleaning cars, I mean, you get any like backlash or did people make fun of you or has there been anything social media wise that's just been odd for you or has everything been pretty positive?
It's been pretty positive. I would say that it's kind of more on me a little bit.
Yeah.
When I tell people, I hate the question, what do you do for work?
Yeah.
Hate it. Don't know why, but I hate it.
Yeah.
And it's, everybody always asks me, and now I've more recently been like, oh, I just clean cars. I don't tell them that I own a business because I hate the conversation. But it's been positive, but yeah, it's more on me of like, I hate answering that question of, I own my own business. Oh, what do you do? Oh, I clean cars.
Yeah.
It kind of just seems
Yeah.
a little silly to me.
Yeah.
But it's like, what do you do for a living? I clean cars.
Yeah.
Obviously, people don't know the extent of what I do. They think
Correct.
this kid's just cleaning cars.
Correct.
So,
Yeah. No, talk to me kind of on the communication that you guys have with you and your wife. Like, how do you keep the relationship moving forward as a married couple? I think a lot of times being a business owner, there's sometimes you're working a lot of hours, you're gone quite a bit traveling. How do you guys communicate? How do you guys basically make sure you guys are staying on top of the marriage, but at the same time trying to grow a business?
I mean, when I get home at the end of the day, we really don't talk about work.
Yeah.
It doesn't get brought up a ton. Obviously, yes, it's my life. Work is my life. So we talk about it, but we try not to. We try and do things that we enjoy together that don't really involve work. But she's also very invested in everything too, so she likes to hear about what's going on.
Correct.
So, I mean, we talk all day, every day. We get home. I mean, we eat dinner together. We go to the gym together.
Yep.
Come back home. We'll watch shows together or do something like that. So after work, I mean, we're pretty much always together.
Yeah.
So that's been super awesome for us. But yeah, she helps move things along because she's super supportive.
Yeah.
With the business.
Do you feel like it's super important for her to be a part of what you're doing?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that's how I kind of feel, right? It's like kind of this role that we've taken on kind of in the mortgage industry now as far as growing a new company. I can tell the communication is the number one thing with my wife, right?
Yeah.
As far as like setting the expectation of what we're trying to do, why we're trying to do it, where we're headed in life. And I think what's been, I don't know, probably the most happiest for me of, you know, who I married is just the support of like, you know, giving me the green light to basically do whatever I want, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, when you have freedom to basically make decisions with no judgment,
Yeah.
right? I mean, as long as I continue to make great decisions.
Yeah. Unless they're terrible decisions.
Yeah, let's get the truth there. But I feel like as long as I continue to move it forward and we're doing this together, I feel like, you know, from a family point of view, like we know what we're doing inside of our household, right?
Yeah.
The neighbors don't know. Some of our closest friends don't really understand it. Some of our family doesn't understand it sometimes.
Yeah.
But I think as long as me and my wife are on the same page, it's easy. You know, people are going to judge all the time, right?
Yeah.
And I think for me, I've got some really thick skin, and it's just like, hey, I know where I'm headed.
Yeah.
Right? And you may not understand that, or you may not know, but you don't need to know that because this is what we're trying to create. This is the life that we want.
Yep.
This is where we're headed. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if that's kind of the same for you and your wife as far as goals and stuff like that, or what you guys want to accomplish.
Yeah, she pushes me every single day to continue to go. I mean, I'm a very anxious person.
Yeah.
Like it sometimes destroys me how anxious I get.
Yeah.
And so like sometimes taking these leaps, like huge amounts of fear come through me, but she's like, no, go do it.
Yeah.
Like what's the worst that could happen with all
Correct.
of this stuff? Like
Correct.
if the business goes away, I still have her.
Correct.
You know? So she pushes me that way to be able to keep the business, but she's really involved with it.
Correct.
She knows
How much-
everything that's going on.
How much risk have you taken in life from a financial standpoint, or, you know, just how do you feel like the risk that you've taken? Do you feel like it's been a lot? Do you feel like it's been pretty easy to handle? What do you feel like?
It's been somewhat easy to handle. Yeah. Like when I first started out the business, I mean, financially, I had $2,000 when I started the business. And I had just bought a car right before I had started the business. And I took out extra money when I bought that car with the loan so I could have cash, so I could put that money down to buy the equipment to put in the
That's awesome.
new van for the business. So, I mean, that was a pretty
Pretty big risk right there.
risky move for me to go out and buy. I mean, at the time it was $50,000, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you only have $2,000 to your name, going out and getting $50,000 worth of equipment with no lined up customers
Yeah.
is kind of
Big
risky.
risk.
Yeah. But I mean, now, it's not too bad. We're pretty calculated with how we take these risks of this avenues that we've been going down. So it hasn't been terrible. I've been pretty reserved on it,
Yeah.
and I think sometimes that hurts me a little bit with growth. But
Yeah. Now that you've taken a risk, like when opportunity comes, do you feel like you're more of a yes person than a no person, or you feel like you're more positive than negative
yeah,
when opportunity comes?
I'm a yes man for sure.
Yeah.
Like people ask me to do stuff, and I'm a yes man.
Yeah.
That's kind of just how I've always been.
Yeah.
But
Do you feel because of saying yes more opportunity comes?
yes, and it also hurts me.
In what way?
I mean, you'll say yes to some of these projects, and it's like, this is gonna suck.
Yeah.
Like it's all the time. I'll always say, people will call me, hey, can you get me in last minute?
Yeah.
I always feel bad saying no to people that I know.
Yeah.
So I'm always like, yeah, dude, just bring it down. I always say yes to everybody around that's like, hey, dude, can you squeeze me in? I'm like, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
And so like that, my brother hates it.
Yeah.
Like 100%. He works with me. He's awesome. But yeah, he absolutely hates that I say yes to so many people with this stuff.
But do you feel like saying yes has actually created, you know, kind of a better rapport with people, or you're adding value to what their needs are and actually helps you retain more clientele and get more referrals out of it?
Yes, because it's the experience.
Correct.
You know? And so, like, we'll use Diesel Brothers, for example. Whenever they asked me to go do something, I always said yes.
Yep.
I mean, one time they asked us to drive all the way out to Mesquite on our anniversary, and clean a bunch of trucks for their TV show.
Love it.
And my wife got in the van with me and we went. So, but yes, me saying yes to all of these things has really opened up a whole lot because people can rely on me.
Correct.
So they'll be able to call me, hey dude, I've got this last minute, can you fit me in?
Correct.
Yes, I've got you.
Yeah, I'm the same way, dude. Like, I think saying yes is the number one thing in life, right? I just look back over my last 9 years of a career, and it's like I had 8 phenomenal years at one company,
Yeah.
and I could tell the change was coming, right? And what's funny to me is I had said yes to a company, right, and then went over to basically where I'm at now and told them I was leaving,
Yeah.
right? We're affiliated with a real estate company here in Utah, and the company that I was leaving and headed to, I was going to go manage like 20 people. You know what I'm saying? These owners had everything set up for me. I was going to be really close to my house. It was a great opportunity to just kind of stay close and manage a bunch of people. And I decided to go to one broker in the state of Utah and let him know that I was making a change.
Yeah.
A lot of that reason though is he had something coming up that involved a lot of the agents inside of his branch. And so I was trying to just get in with them a little bit more, right?
Yeah.
And I remember telling my wife, I'm like, I said yes to these guys. This change is going to happen. We were so excited about it, right? Kind of the next stage of life.
Yeah.
And she's like, so why are you going to go meet with that broker? Like why would you go talk to him and tell him? And I just said, I just want to let him know I'm leaving, and the opportunity for me is to help these 20 people get in with his brokerage.
Yeah.
Right. And what I thought was going to be a 5-minute conversation with this particular broker ended up being a 4-hour conversation on how we start a mortgage company. Right.
Yeah.
And the rest is history. And for me, what makes me laugh now that I look back on it is I said, with me and my wife, is it was like, we took this risk of, there was almost like a phenomenal opportunity of managing 20 people, and we said no to it.
Yeah.
To take on a bigger risk of saying yes. But the way that I looked at it is the opportunity of kind of teaming up with this brokerage or being affiliated with them was only going to come around once.
Yeah.
Managing 20 people could probably come around again in my life. And definitely if I wanted to stay at the original company,
Yeah.
I was a good enough loan officer that I could pretty much hang my license wherever it was, right?
Yeah.
And so I've always been a huge yes person. And the reason I say yes is because it just creates so much more opportunity.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And over the last year of my life, it's just wild how I know 225 different agents from St. George all the way up through Logan.
Yeah.
Right? I would have never had that opportunity if I would not have said yes to this. And now it's been fun to travel and kind of grow a team or grow a community now, and kind of on to the next phase of our life. But I feel like if I was a pessimist or, the glass was half empty and I didn't want to take the risk, right? Like, I just don't know where I'd be, right?
Yeah.
And that's a great thing. Like, you just don't know. You just say yes and move forward. Talk to me really quick as far as, with talking about just saying yes, like, you've kind of told me you got into some high-end luxury dealerships now. You've obviously done some coatings and some different stuff. You're doing boats now.
Yeah.
Like is that all self-taught? Did you have to go get classes on that? For those that might be looking into car detailing, if they really want to get into it, like, is that something hard to learn, or is it?
I guess it's not hard to learn if you have an eye for it.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't go get like professional training for any of this stuff. It was more just kind of self-taught stuff.
Yep.
Learning how to do it. And I mean, once you get in with companies, they teach you how to use their coatings. They teach you all of this stuff. So it's pretty easy if you know the right people and you've got an eye for it and you've been doing it for a while.
Yep.
Because you have to know what to look for.
Correct.
What I see is not going to be what you see, but another customer that I don't know what they're going to see is going to maybe see something I didn't see. So you have to know how to do all of that stuff to make sure you're getting everything.
Yeah.
It's not like you're taking it through the quick quack real quick and it's just kind of blowing stuff around.
I like that though. It's quick.
It is quick and it's very convenient. I'll give them that. I got a pass for a while, even though I own a detail shop, whatever. But yeah, when we're doing this, we're on a normal boat. I had a brand new 2022 Malibu come in. We spent 25 hours on it.
Really?
So it's a lot of,
Like just from coating it, or?
from the full paint correction stages to prepping everything to cleaning the inside to coating it, doing tint on the windows.
Everything.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a long process. So yeah, going back to it, you've got to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Training helps a lot. It'll help push you farther faster.
Yeah.
For sure. If you've got the money to spend to go get trained, it's not. It's not terribly expensive, but it's not cheap for some of these new guys getting into the game.
Yeah. So for some people that don't know what coating is, I guess tell us what coating is. Why do why do you do ceramic coating?
So ceramic coatings are awesome. You can kind of think of it, it's easy to explain as like an extreme version of wax or paint sealants that will last anywhere from 3 years to 10 years, some of these coatings go to. But it's like a super hard layer. You can kind of think of it like a clear coat. What it does is it goes in, fills in the pores of the paint, creates a super hard layer, so it's super hydrophobic, UV resistant, chemical resistant. You don't get water spots anymore. Super easy to clean because nothing can sit in the pores of that paint anymore, so everything's kind of just falling off of it. So it's a great way to protect, these new cars are $100,000 plus.
Yep.
Great way to protect it. Keep it looking how it's supposed to. Super glossy.
Yeah. Do you still recommend, because obviously we threw clear bras on ours, do you still recommend the clear bras
Oh, absolutely.
with the ceramic coating?
Yeah, because ceramic coating won't protect against rock chips
Yep.
and stuff like that. It's not like vinyl, like PPF or clear bra is,
Yep.
where that's super thick, where rocks can hit it. It's not going to damage your paint.
Yeah.
So absolutely, I fully recommend.
And you got to do the one that comes all the way up to the hood.
All the way. You
I
can't
made
see
the
lines.
mistake. I made the mistake of doing my truck. with
Can't
one
see
of the
lines. Yep, can't see lines. You got to spend the money to get that right. So yeah, it's not a cheap thing to do.
Yeah.
It can get expensive.
Yeah.
For sure.
What's kind of the future of the detailing company? You guys have any visions?
Future for us right now, we just brought on 2 partners
Okay.
a month and a half ago. So they really want to push and grow fast. So the goal right now is to move into our new shop on the Bountiful Airport, get that one up and going, get an awesome crew in there, then open up a second shop in Draper,
Yep.
get that to grow. We would love to franchise out some of our mobile units, get that stuff going. We're the Utah distributor for our ceramic coating company, so selling products has been a big push right now for us.
Correct.
Online sales, all that type of stuff has been a really big push for us. So the goal right now is to get into the new shop, get the second shop open, get some more mobile units out there, and kind of just take it from there, get it to a point where it's ready to sell,
Yeah.
and then make your exit.
Gonna make an exit here soon, huh? Hopefully.
That's the plan. I would love to.
And then what?
Don't know. Jump into your shoes. Maybe I'll come to the real estate game.
You can't.
Grass is always
I
green
know.
on the other side,
I
right?
don't recommend it, bro.
Always green there. But yeah, it's the exit. The exit is something I'm looking forward to, but I also love the journey right now.
Yeah.
It's hard at times for sure, but
Yeah.
the journey to get it to the point where it's like, okay, I can sell off my baby.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go on to the next chapter
Yeah.
of my life.
Talk to me really quick. I mean, do you feel like you've loved the journey of the process?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
The journey has been super difficult. It brings out a whole different side of you that you don't
Yeah.
know that you have. Like it can really throw you down sometimes.
Yeah.
You can get into some deep dark holes with, you get a couple pissed off customers for whatever reason it is,
Yep.
and it can spiral you pretty quick.
Yeah.
So
So how do you overcome that? How do you deal with it?
you just have to think of, I save a lot of screenshots of customers that will send me texts of
Yep.
like, hey man, you did a really good job. This is super important to me. Thank you so much for all your hard work.
Yeah.
I'll save those, and my wife will always tell me to go back and look at those.
Yeah.
Or it's always at the end of the night when we're laying in bed talking about stuff. She can like tell when I get down on myself. And she always looks at me, she's like, okay, tell me 10 things you're grateful for.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want to do this right now. So she always does that. So the gratitude thing will really help when you
Cool.
hit those lows
Cool.
from all of that.
Yeah.
I become numb to a lot of these supercars that come in.
Yep.
But you have to be like, man, I'm really grateful that I've got, $2+ million worth of cars sitting in the shop right now.
Correct.
So
No, I feel like kind of running a business myself for the last 9 years being self-employed, right? I mean, it causes a lot of stress and a lot of anxiety, and I think a lot of people just don't get into the whole self-employment because of it, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because really me and you were on the customer service side.
Yep.
Even though I'm doing a loan for somebody to help them purchase one of the biggest assets or, basically get one of the biggest loans in their life.
Oh, yeah.
You're still dealing with one of the most expensive cars, around, right?
Yep.
And what I can tell, I always make the joke when people ask me what I do is I'm like, dude, I'm just a firefighter. Like legit, it's phone calls on phone calls. I mean, I know it's a little bit different, but I feel like it's legit just dealing with people and communicating. And what I can tell is when we don't communicate at a very high level, it's like we're just putting out fires right and left, right?
Yep.
Perception is reality. Every customer, every client has a perception of how this should be going.
Yep.
And it's almost like you try and set the expectation, but I really hate the word expectation because it almost sets you up for failure.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So to me, I don't know if this is like you, but it's almost like we've got to over communicate in the beginning. Really set kind of what the expectation is going to look like,
Yep.
and then navigate as we go through the process, and really never always run smooth, right?
Yep.
We close a lot of loans that we do a really good job on, and there's always those clients that feel like we just didn't take care of them. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you can't please everybody.
No.
No.
I mean, it just happened to us the other day. We've got I've been fortunate enough to kind of work with a builder, and he's building a bunch of townhomes up in Bear Lake, which is really cool.
Yeah.
But we had a client that signed all the documents. We looked over the numbers. We had emails explaining what the interest rate was, what the cost of it was, and yet he gets to the title company ready to sign and just freaked out.
Yeah.
And he just didn't want to sign the papers. And so for me, it's kind of one of those things that's like, what do you do, right? Do you go down and you be, kind of an asshole and basically say to him like, sorry, man, you've known this whole time?
Yeah.
Or do you kind of go into firefighter mode of like, hey, what's the problem? How do we make you happy? And I think for me, I've always chosen, let's see what we need to do to make this guy happy,
Yeah.
right? And on my loan side of stuff, it's a little bit different than you, but it always comes down to money. You know what I'm saying? They feel like we're charging too much, or they feel like the deal isn't as good as they should have gotten.
Yeah.
So a lot of times it's just taking care of the client and making sure they get the best deal. But with that said, I feel like we get so many thank yous and so many referrals out of it because we did the right thing.
Yeah.
When basically the fire was, igniting, when people were actually super mad, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't happen a whole lot, but I feel like how we react to those situations is probably the most important. And for my career, I'm like, we've really got to take the high road because they're the client, their perception is reality,
Yep.
and they're the ones that are going to go speak about me and my brand. And I feel like I've got to control that before he goes and talks about my brand.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I've spent 9 years building this thing. I'm going to make sure every consumer has one of the best experiences they possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
Home loans are pretty boring for everybody, but at the same time, we still try to create that experience for them.
Yeah.
Have you ran into any problems? I guess, and I don't know if you have this experience. Have you ever screwed up on a car? Ever scratched a car?
Yeah.
Done anything to a car?
Yeah, everybody makes their mistakes.
Yeah.
We've had kids with polishers burn through paint, and it's that very awkward conversation to a customer. Hey man, like we just had a guy blow through your paint. We're gonna get this fixed, but I know it's a problem that you're gonna have to deal with now.
Yeah.
We'll take care of it the best that we can.
Yeah.
But you never know how some of these guys are gonna react to it. Most all of the time they're cool.
Yeah.
Like if we make a mistake, we're owning up to it 100%. We're not perfect.
Yep.
And we got a lot of equipment moving around, everything.
Yep.
There's a lot of moving pieces to all this stuff. So yeah, we've had it happen for
Yeah.
sure. But it's how we've reacted to it.
Correct. And I always feel like the reaction is, as long as we've got a solution to the problem, people are pretty happy.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? What I can tell in my career, it's like, if we call somebody up and there's no solution, it just creates so much more stress and anxiety because it's like, so what now? You know what I'm saying? So I always feel like when, as the firefighter or whatever you want to call it, it's like, as long as I can come up with a solution or two solutions to the problem,
Yep.
everybody's usually pretty chill and pretty nice about it because you're already resolving the issue or resolving the problem.
Yeah. People are very lenient with the fact of if you're actually taking care of them. If you've got something that's going to solve the problem to, hey, we just did this to your paint or whatever it may be.
Yep.
We're going to fix it. Don't worry about it. I'm sorry this happened. Let's get it taken care of.
Yeah.
So,
No, dude, I mean, this has been a blast, dude. I've loved having you here.
Absolutely.
I know we've known each other for a long, long time.
awesome. Thanks for having me on for my first ever podcast. There you have it.